Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. My name is Laura Topper. I'm just so excited to be here today. This is the first show in the new year. 3rd of January is today. I'm here in the UK and we're broadcasting, as always, on the amazing New Thought Media Network. And I'm excited because I'm presenting the show today. Our guests are beginning to come in from as of next week when we have amazing guests lined up for the new year. And today I just really felt like creating that space for me to be here, be present, take an amazing kind of look at last year and then bring in the new and how we can use prayer right now for our lives, for coming into 2022, to really feel fulfilled and free in all that we want for our lives. That's why we're here. And that's what the Cosmic Prayer is all about. You know, week by week, amazing guests come on and talk about their idea of prayer. And what amazes me every week is that although the guests speak of so many different things, coming from so many different perspectives, ultimately they're saying the same thing, that we have this incredible opportunity in any moment to commune and to connect in the way that feels right for us individually, and to command what it is that we know is the truth for our lives. That's why we use prayer. So Ernest Holmes created the spiritual mind treatment process, although really he was taking this process from master teachers, specifically one, Jesus, Yeshua, the master teacher that is, the one that healed, the one that forgave, the one that loved. And Dr. Ernest Holmes really refers to Jesus's teachings and brings this process of spiritual mind treatment, which is very loosely kind of described, shall I say, in the Bible. Ernest Holmes really studied that and really looked at where he could see a treatment and how to use a treatment as written in the Bible or in the teachings of Jesus, and created this spiritual mind treatment for anybody to use, whatever, path or religion or faith or beliefs we may have. We can use this treatment if we believe that there is an incredible power that is greater than anything and everything, that is the creative life force of this universe and everything. So treatment is like our bridge. It kind of allows us to step over and out of this kind of world of form into the infinite, where we can use this wonderful tool and it works. And the only way to know that it works really is to do it for yourself, to test it out, to try it out, to experiment with it. Because there's no point in anybody saying this works, use it. We have to be that great spiritual detective for our own lives. We have to take responsibility, take charge, and use treatment and work with it and play with it and find different ways that it works for us individually. That's the fun of this. Welcome in here. If you're joining, you are on the Cosmic Prayer. I'm going to put a little banner up. Hello, welcome, welcome. Hi, Martha. So good to be with you here, and a happy new year to you. Welcome into the Cosmic Prayer. You know that you're on New Thought Media Network, Martha, and please, if you feel like it, like, subscribe, and share this channel. I'm getting really good with all of this. I love this, playing around with all the Diego, our wonderful show producer, I'm producing the show today as there are no invited guests on today. Today is the first show, and I really felt to just create this space here where we can share, where I can talk a little bit about prayer, set the scene for this coming year, for 2022, for this broadcast, and just to invite you in with any comments or anything you'd like to know about prayer. Maybe you have questions. Martha, if there's anything that you'd like me to talk about in relation to prayer, please pop it into the chat here, because this is about community here and our connection with each other. And this Cosmic Prayer broadcast is definitely about you being a part of this. So feel free to share in the chat there. So I'm just going to move into, my favorite teacher, one of my favorite teachers, Dr. Ernest Holmes. And I just want to read this here. All the power in the universe, of the universe, is with you. Feel it, know it, then act as though it were true. Just read that. Take that in. Take a moment here. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. Now, for me, this just brings together the first two stages of spiritual mind treatment, recognizing that there is this power and that it is within me, that it is within you, and feeling it and knowing it. And Ernest Holmes talks, so much and so precisely about the feeling of treatment and being in the feeling, and absolutely becoming the treatment, and the treatment becoming who we are. So really, there's just this immense feeling of, it's almost like an embodiment of the words that we're speaking in the treatment, so that we get ourselves into this place when we're speaking the words where it's like, oh my gosh, it's almost like being a whirling dervish. Whirling dervishes get into that place, or when people are having that spiritual healing, or when certain people in certain religions pray, as in the Jewish faith, in the Jewish religion. I know that, there's the davening, the act of davening, where the men will just swaying backwards and forwards. It's like a bodily embodiment. And yet we can get to that place even without the moving, if we don't want to move, just to feel the words and know the truth. We can build ourselves in with this conviction and this warmth in our hearts, where we know that what we're speaking is absolutely true. We feel it and we know it has happened already. And that's where we want to be in treatment. That's the place that we're aiming to be in when we speak our treatment. And that's why he says here, all of the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as if. Act as if it were true. Act as though it were true. So I really like that word act there, because we can take that as, we're acting and maybe we don't believe it, or maybe we haven't really, embodied it and know we're going to act it in our faith. And also it's that taking action. Because when we speak our spiritual mind treatment, and when we have completed that treatment, we are absolutely in that place where we know we are open to receive whatever information, wisdom, intelligence, whatever the knowing is that is ready to come through, will come through. And we're the ones that move our feet. Ernest Holmes says, treat and move your feet. We've got to take the action. We've got to act as if it's already happened. We've got to act as if we know in the faith of, and then take the action. Take the action. Because many times I think and I feel, unless we're being told not to do anything, and that also can be, very relevant. However, I do believe that many times we get scared. We're scared to take that human step ourselves. We're scared, and we kind of, okay, we want to do the treatment and know the truth, and yet there's something coming through. There's something coming through, and I'm going to listen in the stillness and in the silence, and I'm going to be present. And yet I can hear what is called of me to take that step, and I'm scared, or I'm in fear, or I don't believe, or it'll never happen, or I'm not good enough, or why me, or all the excuses under the sun come in within about 4 seconds, and then we don't take the action. And when that happens, the treatment is great. The treatment works. The treatment is working. And the next part is for us to actually step into it and be bold and say, yes, I'm available to do this part for my life. I want this to happen. I'm knowing that the demonstration is already here. I'm being guided in this direction or that direction, or whatever the guidance is that I'm hearing, and I'm listening, and I'm tuning in and being so intuitive. And yet if we don't take that step, if we don't move our feet, then we never realize the treatment. We never realize that it has worked, because we need to take that bodily action. We need to be human. We need to do the human part. God is here in everything. There is no separation. So it's owning this whole lot as God, the whole lot, all of it. The wisdom that comes through, the next steps that we're guided to take, or the inaction if we're being told, wait, hold back, be patient. Just nurture yourself, and it will happen in its own way. It will unfold naturally. This is also, this wisdom that's speaking through. So our work is to treat and to record, and to not only mentally record, but write down what comes through from these treatments, and treat the whole thing as a beautiful experiment. Our lives, we're experimenting with all of this right now as on our living journey, and with this spiritual practice and spirituality. We have this beautiful playing field where we can dip in and out and choose what's right for us at certain times. And yet we know that we can constantly commune with the divine. So it's so great to be here with you. We have Christine in Kenya. Welcome, Christine. It's so great that you're tuning in and watching from Kenya. Christine is a practitioner in Kenya and also in ministerial school, and she is doing incredible work working with women, working with children, reminding them in her way of how amazing they are and the opportunities that they have to step into their own power. Blessings and love to you, Christine. In fact, Christine occasionally puts prayers in on the prayer team, I think, and I feel another prayer coming through, Christine, for you to put here on the New Thought Media Network prayer offering. That would be great. And so what I want to do, hello everybody, hello to Wayne, welcome into the show today, to the Cosmic Prayer. It's just so great to create community around this and to have your understanding of prayer and what prayer really means for you. So if you're watching, welcome. And if you feel like writing in any questions that you have about prayer, any comments, any ideas that you'd like me to discuss or to converse with you right now, please put them in here, because this show is all about prayer. It's called the Cosmic Prayer. Ta-da! I wonder why it's called the Cosmic Prayer. Because. So I'm going to put up another slide here. Let's see what we have. Again, Ernest Holmes. And the reason I chose this, when we conceive a new idea, we're thinking directly from the creativity of God. When we conceive a new idea, we're thinking directly from the creativity of God. So we're staying with this knowing that everything is God, and God is everything, and God is everywhere. And that means that every thought, every idea, every intention, every feeling, it's all God. We can't say this is God and that isn't, because it may feel good or it may not feel good. It's still all God. Don't tell anybody, that's the biggest secret of all. It's all God. So when we have these ideas that we're inspired by that speak to our heart, where we feel called, like, yes, then we know that we're kind of following those steps of our soul's calling, of the mandate in our heart. So as we're coming into the new year, I mean, I'm sure you have looked at, in the past few weeks, looked at 2021, are projecting forwards into 2022, are staying in the now and being centered with where you are. I'm sure you've done this work over the last few weeks, as we all have, in different ways. And whatever came through for you as to what was important to just dissolve and choose not to bring with you emotionally into 2022. And then whatever it is that you want to expand more of in your life, of those aspects of you and your life and who you are, and what it is that you are looking to co-create with the divine for your life. I'm inviting you to really bring that into treatment, to really bring it into treatment and to know it, and to come back into what I have just put up on the screen, to come back into this. All of the power in the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, then act as if it were true. This is such a great song. It rhymes. I love it. All the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, then act as though it were true. So when you're treating whatever it's for, this new beginning that you know, this new vista that you can see, that you can taste, that you know is here, it's your life calling, it's your calling for now. When you're treating for this, knowing this is already here because you've been seeded this idea. So it's already in existence. We just have to vibrationally, tune in. We just have to change, as Abraham Hicks says, changing that dial on the radio and be a vibrational match. So that's what we're being called to do, and that's what the prayer does. That's what treatment does. So we've first got to know what it is that we're treating about. We've first got to be really clear. And as we're doing that, we come away from a place of hoping. In the Science of Mind textbook, for anybody that has this wonderful book, by the way, the Science of Mind Conversation series is coming out again this year on New Thought Media Network, and I'm going to be woven into being a part of that series with others, which is very exciting. But the page that I turn to here is page 49, which says, hope is a subtle illusion. Many people correctly begin their treatment in this manner. I know that the principle of intelligence within me will direct me, etc. Then they complete it with the thought, well, I certainly hope it does. Can you resonate with that? I can. Of course, we're all human. This is entirely forgetting any definite statement and is simply wondering if possibly some good will come along. This is not a correct treatment and is not the scientific use of this principle. Let's just get into that a little bit. Ernest Holmes called it the science of mind, called this philosophy the science of mind, because he knew that there is a science to this. He knows that the universe, that the love and the law, which is God, which created the universe, works in a very specific mathematical way. He knew that whatever we say, whatever we feel, whatever our intention is what will show up as our perception of life. And he knew it was exacting. It is exacting. So when he says, when we hope, when we say our treatments, and then we're left in this space of, oh, really? Is it going to happen? I wonder. Well, I've just I hope and I pray. Then that's what we're going to get. Yeah, we're going to get a hope and a prayer, which is wishy-washy, which is kind of a house divided, because the creative law then will not know which way to serve us. It will not know. We will be the ones that are in the midst of, a vagueness. So it's up to us to be definite, not only in what we are knowing and treating as this demonstration that's already here, being definite with that, and being definite in our faith, in our knowing that it's done, that it's done. So Ernest here is calling for us to be very complete, very aligned with our faith. So we question this journey, and that's really important, to be that, as Ernest Holmes was, that eternal question mark. That's what he was known as, was it? The forever question mark. We question it, but not from a place of, because we may not necessarily not believe it, or maybe from that place. Really, though, we're questioning it. We're questioning why, or how we can have more faith in this that already works. The only way to know this is to prove it to ourselves, is to step out in that faith and to surrender. And that's why the letting go, the acceptance in our hearts, really, at the end of the treatment, is so important. Because in that step, we're removing ourselves from having to be the how. That's God's part. That's the scientific part. That's where the science kicks in. And that's what Ernest Holmes knew, that there we step out of our own way. We've said it and we know it, and we have this conviction, this confidence, this deep faith and knowing. And then we have so much faith that we can stand back and say, okay, I'm allowing it to happen. I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen for the signs. I'm going to listen for what's mine to do. I'm going to listen for my next step. And I'm going to do this with grace and with love, and not with impatience or a feeling that, it's not happening and I better just kind of make something up along the way. No, we're going to listen with love, and we're going to have patience for the unfolding, with the unfolding of this. So let's just go back to this. Hope is good. It is better than despair. Yes, definitely. But it's a subtle illusion, and it's an unconscious compromise. Why do we do that to ourselves? Compromise with ourselves. It has no part in an effective mental treatment. We should say to doubt, where did you come from? Who is your father or your mother, etc.? You have no place in my mind. Get out. I know that the faith within me now neutralizes all doubt. This is the scientific use of a mental statement. There must be no compromise with the consciousness. Okay, so we could say here that that's maybe leading to a little bit of a spiritual bypass, because as a practitioner, I know that if I don't have faith, or if I'm in doubt, I want to go a little bit deeper, and I want to look at that, and I want to look at the beliefs around it maybe, and to overcome those beliefs. And I would, because maybe then those beliefs of doubt or fear could be holding me back from experiences in other aspects of my life. So it's really powerful when we think about it, because we can use this treatment process as a way of seeing how we navigate our own lives. If we have full faith in the process of treatment, then surely we have full faith in the knowing of the divine. If we are in that place of hope, or maybe it will, maybe it won't, or I'm not quite sure, which many of us are in a lot of the time, because it's a work in progress, then we have this amazing opportunity, number one, to go a little bit deeper or a lot deeper with our own beliefs and our own understanding of what God is for us. And number two, we can treat for that again. We can treat for a deepening of faith within ourselves. We can use spiritual mind treatment as a tool for that. Many, many times have I used spiritual mind treatment for a way of deepening my faith in the process of treatment or in the knowing of the divine, of this one presence. So we can use this treatment in so many different ways. Excited? I am. Please leave your name, your comment, anything you'd like to know about prayer. Pop it into the comments here. And that way then, if there's anything on your mind or in your heart, then I can talk on it now in this conversation. So he goes on to say that we have discovered what the principle is and how it works. And now this is what it does. Specifically, turn to that thought which tells us that we do not know how to use it and repudiate the falsehood. So we can do this in treatment. We can do it in treatment. We have the principle that we have to demonstrate is perfect. And insofar as we can compel the mind to perceive this perfection, so far it will automatically demonstrate. Experience has proved this to be true. I love the way that he puts that at the end there. Experience has proved this to be true, because he's telling us that he has used this as a kind of experiment. And he has experienced it himself, and he wouldn't write it if it wasn't his own experience. So he realizes that we have to get to that place of knowing it for ourselves. Reading it is one thing, putting it into practice is another, and then actually experiencing the demonstration that's where we know that we know that we know. So what he's saying is that the principle that we have to demonstrate is perfect, and that principle is God. The one divine presence, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. It's perfect. And if that is me and if that is you, then what are we? Perfect. In our spiritual nature, we are perfect. And in our humanness, we can elevate to that template within us. We can know that perfection within us and live from that place. And we can make all of our choices and decisions and conversations and intentions from that place of perfect. And then we're living in this higher vibrational stance. We're coming from that place in our lives. And then that's what we see as the mirror back. So we're emulating it and we're seeing it reflected at the same time. And the reflection is there to show us where we can make adjustments to improve our lives, to lift ourselves to that highest. If we're having thoughts that are anything away from love, then we know we have work to do. And it's a welcome. It's a welcome work. And that's where we use the treatment to elevate us to that place where we know there's always there, as all giving and all loving. It's exciting. Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. I'm just reading here from Ernest Holmes, talking about prayer coming into the new year, how we're using prayer, how we're going to make a commitment to ourselves to pray. How many times a day? To use this treatment. How many times a day? Twice, 3 times a day, 5 times a day, once a day, continually, once an hour, whatever, whenever ever anything comes up. This is not a one and done thing, because the prayer is changing and transforming their consciousness. That's what we're doing. We're shifting our own awareness, our own consciousness. So when we use spiritual mind treatment, every single time we do it, we're elevating our consciousness. Isn't this amazing? Because it means that we can take this responsibility for our lives. We can really make our lives the way that we choose that experience to be. So powerful. Oh, Martha, thank you. That's a really beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much. And then Wayne wrote this underneath. Spiritual people rock. I love it. Yeah, well, I'm just speaking from my heart here because I know how empowered I feel and how passionate I am around this topic, around this work. It's not really work, but this philosophy and how I use it for my life. And so I want to share that with you because I know so many changes have happened for me, so many transformations have occurred because of my continual use of spiritual mind treatment, my continual use of this whole philosophy as my way of life. And so I'm really excited then to share this with you because I know that we can all, glean from each other's support and love and being there for each other. And that's why I'm here right now on New Thought Media Network. If you love New Thought Media Network, there is the website, and I'm just going to talk a little moment about the your ability, if you like, to actually leave a donation and a love offering that goes straight through to the network. New Thought Media Network is a very exciting online focus ministry, and the senior minister is Reverend Robert Brzezinski, with an amazing vision that he has, that we all have really here on this network, to bring this teaching out further, the teachings of science of mind, the teachings of new thought, so that people can really hear it and accept it for their lives through online portals. And that's why we're here on YouTube, as podcasts, on Facebook, on the website. And shows like this come out every single day, and so many different express themselves in so many different ways. So when you are giving your love offering to this network, you are actually being woven into this beautiful vision of this, so that others can be reached and touched and moved and transformed in their lives by the teachings and the conversations and the intention of this network. So there we are. There's the link. You can get straight through to the donate page. There we go. Thank you, Wayne. Support the network. Beautiful. So let's take a breath here. If you're here with me, I've spoken a lot for the last half an hour. That's amazing, Laura. I just want to invite us to take a breath, breathe in, and center into yourself right now. And just for a moment, I'm inviting us to envision what your prayer life will look like for this year, 2022. What are the commitments? What is the commitment that you would like to make for yourself around your use of prayer, around the frequency of prayer for your life, your everyday, around lifting your vibration and knowing the truth and staying in that place of principle? And if a number comes up, how many times a day would you like to use this tool? Just know that number. Just know that number. And then open your eyes. Because very often we say that we're going to do something, or that we're setting an intention for our lives, and the days go by, and we don't actually put it into practice. So if a number came through for you as to how many times a day you feel that you would like to create this connection, this deeper knowing of your connection with the divine, what is that number? You can write it in the comment box here if you like. Let me know how many times a day. I mean, praying in the morning when you get up, praying at lunchtime, doing a spiritual mind treatment, and then before you go to bed, it's like, wow, what a beautiful cycle to be in there 3 times a day. Or maybe it's more than that, or maybe it's not as much as that. It's okay. But it's all about setting an intention to live from that place of practice. Because when we use spiritual mind treatment, we're changing and transforming our own consciousness. That's what we're doing. So why wouldn't we want to do it? There's my question to you. Every thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion, in mind, and mind sees the thing as already done. Every thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion, in mind, and mind sees the thing as already done. So for me, this is saying that if mind is seeing it as already done, then as our example, mind is that example to show us that we can see it as already done. So that means that we're not coming from that place of hope or beg or maybe or disbelief or not quite sure if it's happening. We see it as already done. Now, that's not always easy, is it? Because we want to see the solid kind of facts, and we want to see the logical explanation, and we want to see the material demonstration before we believe it is happening. And yet we know that life works the other way around. This experience starts from somewhere. You know, I wanted a desk for here because I don't know if you realized, if you're watching the Cosmic Prayer over the last year, I had my laptop on a very wobbly trestle table, and every time I touched the desk, the computer would kind of go like that. I got to the point where I was just completely, Diego would be saying to me, Laura, don't touch the desk. Laura, stay away from the desk. It's like I couldn't go near the desk because everything would wobble. So I knew in my mind that there was a desk here for me that was mine. Wasn't here in the room, of course. I just knew it was somewhere here. And I just was guided to look on Facebook Marketplace one day, and there it was. In fact, Jason said to me, what you really could do with is like an old-fashioned school desk that's got a lid on it. And as he was saying that, I said, oh yeah, okay. Anyway, what I found on Facebook Marketplace was an old-fashioned school desk with a lid on it. It's like, okay, it already existed. He was just reminding me, and with the spiritual mind treatment and me seeing this whole area that I have to work from as being complete with every bit of equipment and technology and a stable desk that doesn't wobble, and feeling confident when I come online, and all of that I know that I spoke to in my treatments, knowing that it's here, the desk appeared. I now have the desk, which is an old-fashioned kind of refurbished school desk, just as Jason said, with a lid where I can put things inside it, and I can touch it and the computer doesn't move. It's stable. It came from somewhere though, didn't it? Before it appeared, I knew it in my mind. I knew it was here. I was alchemizing it. I was transmuting it from consciousness into reality. And that's why I'm saying this long-winded here, but we often We don't want to believe it because we can't see it. And in treatment, we're given that opportunity to not only materialize it within ourselves and to absolutely have faith and let go and let the divine do its thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful action. The whole thing, treatment, is so special because on different levels, it's showing us that the thing already exists. And all we need to do is know it and choose it and have fun with it. Here we go. We have more people, beautiful lovelies coming in. This is Prince, my gorgeous friend. How are you, Prince? Happy New Year. I know you're so busy with all the amazing projects that you're doing. Prince is a reverend and a New Thought singer and songwriter, minister, and does so much in the way that he shares his work with the world. Been on the Cosmic Prayer and other shows. And Prince is an example of using spiritual mind treatment. Martha, I hold that I will successfully incorporate treatment more deeply into my life by praying at the beginnings and ends of my day. And so it is. Martha, that is amazing. I love it. I just love it that this has happened right now, because you doing this and you committing to this, Martha, is your way of saying that you are willing to co-create for the most amazing, fulfilled and free life by using this tool, this practice, as a bridge, as a way your life will transform. It already has, because you've made this commitment. Blessings to you. You're amazing, Martha. What an example for each of us. Here we go. Martha again, love that story. Thought created the thing. Yes. Because we're always thinking, the thinking is the conscious mind. We know the thoughts that we're having, kind of. There are so many of them. And yet there's this kind of wheel of subconscious thought that's going on, and we don't even really know what it is. It's just this kind of habitual atmosphere of our lives, and that's what creates our mental equivalent. And our work is to step up our mental equivalent, to expand it, to go above and beyond. And that's what treatment does. It takes us away from that finite set way that we're used to looking at our lives in, and it brings us into the infinite, where we can know that there's no beginning, no ending, and we can choose whatever it is. Often it's materialistic things, and that's how we come into this teaching, because we want our lives to be better. Yeah, cool, why not? And then also there's the immaterial and yet the important peace. I want peace for my life. I want peace with my relationships, with my friendships, with my loved ones. I want joy in my life. So we treat for these things also. And then peace shows up in every way, in our prosperity as well. I love that. My way of manifesting is just knowing that all is supplied. Beautiful. And that goes back to what we're talking about at the beginning of the show, is having that deep faith, that absolute faith, unshakable conviction, unwavering faith that it's done and it's done and it's done, and that we are provided for, because God is our supply. Source is our supply. Wow. For me, it has reached an unconscious state of mind. It just is. That's so beautiful. And the amazing thing about that is that even though it's reached that place for you, you still treat, I'm sure, you still use spiritual mind treatment, because we're going to get those resistances during the day, during our day, in many ways, because we're human beings. And so our mind is infinite, and it's going to go off onto tangents. It's finite. Okay, let me say it's finite, and yet the infinite is coming through. So we're going to get these resistance thoughts as well. So we can nip them in the bud with the treatment process. That's all from Prince. Over and out. I love it. Top up your call with new thought. That's what we're doing. I like it, Wayne. You're just saying it very kind of like very easy to understand. That is what we're doing. We're topping up our thought, our call, and our thoughts with new thought. We're topping up. So I love it that you're posting here in the comment box, and I, if there's any more, please put them up. There was something that I wanted to just talk about before we go on. Two things that I want to talk about if you're watching here. Rockin' the Love is a new show that's coming up on New Thought Media Network in the this week, this Wednesday at 8 o'clock UK time, which is 1 o'clock Mountain Time. It's Robin Olmsted, Rice Olmsted, and Reverend Gil Olmsted. Their show, Rockin' the Love, is coming up, and I'm so excited by it because it's all about relationships, but it's about our relationship to the world, to everything in our lives. And they are so cool, and you're going to enjoy. I think I've got the banner still, the branding banner still on my thing. Where's it gone? Oh, strange. Oh, here it is, Rockin' the Love. Adding me back to the stream here. I had to open the window because I have the oven on and a jacket potato in the oven. And it's getting a little bit hot in here. So I'm just actually going to just turn the oven down for a minute. One moment. This is Laura in real time. Just let's turn that down. So a lot of talk around treatment today and prayer. And one thing that I wanted to just bring back into the conversation, because here we go. Did I write a little thing for it? But I did pick it up in the book here in chapter 9 under prayer, when Ernest Holmes says that one of the questions most frequently asked about in Science of Mind is, are prayers and treatments identical? The answer to this is both yes and no. I'm reading here from the book. If one prays the prayer, it's a recognition of Spirit's omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, and a realization of our unity with Spirit. Then this prayer becomes a spiritual treatment. If, on the other hand, one is holding the viewpoint that God is somewhere far off, in the far off being, whom we would approach with doubt in our thoughts, wondering if by some good luck we may be able to placate God or persuade God of the wisdom of the request, then there is but little similarity between prayer and treatment. Okay, so what he's basically saying is, what he's basically saying is that using it as treatment, knowing it's spiritual mind treatment, is calling for us to use those first 2 steps of spiritual mind treatment. The recognition, recognizing the allness, the everything, the omnipresence of the divine, and then uniting, then knowing this is me. If this is life, if this is God, if this is everything, then I am this. This is running in as and through me. So it's that unification. That's what makes it a spiritual mind treatment. So if we're asking and begging and hoping and wishing, as I was talking about earlier, then it's not a treatment. It's not a treatment. And we want to use treatment, spiritual mind treatment. So that is today's program. That is today's show. I know that Martha has committed here. I'm going to put you up here, Martha. Martha has made a commitment to successfully incorporating treatment more deeply into her life, praying at the beginning and the end of every day. That is so amazing. And for you, making that commitment to yourself, using prayer, going into 2022, coming away from any sense of vagueness about this, make a commitment, set an intention for yourself right now. That the way forwards for you, for your spiritual practice, is going to be one where prayer is incorporated into this daily. Set that intention. Use the prayer. Record it. Record your demonstrations. Record your feelings around it. When you're feeling, like it's happening, or when you're not feeling it, and then record what happens. Be the experiment for the next year. Make this a beautiful kind of playful experience where you can use this treatment and really work out for yourself how to use it best for your life. So you start to see and witness and experience the demonstrations that you are seeking right now, that freedom, that fulfillment, that knowing of wholeness and oneness and completeness with the divine. Use treatment. Make 2022 your template for this fun, wondrous, joyful journey with spiritual mind treatment. And let me know. Stay here on the channel, on New Thought Media Network, on the Cosmic Prayer. Come back on Mondays. Let us know how you're doing with this, with your commitment. And let us know your demonstrations also during the next year. Next week, we have a wonderful guest on, Greg Coyle, who is a practitioner, licensed practitioner, doing amazing work, really beautiful work. He's a yoga teacher as well, and such a beautiful, beautiful soul and light. And he's coming onto the Cosmic Prayer. He's in Norway, so that will be fun. And we have some wonderful guests that are set to come on to this show in this coming year, 2022. So I'm going to leave here with a treatment, knowing the truth of light and love for all of us as we step into 2022. And you are welcome to join with this treatment right now. And if you feel ready and you feel inspired, that's the word I was looking for, then join me in this spiritual mind treatment. And you can close your eyes if you like. That's the way I like to use to pray. And take a breath. And just know that wherever I am and that wherever you are, we are here in the one mind, as one. And I know that this presence, this power that is here, that is shining through everything, that is the creative idea of all of this life, from the multiverses down to the tiniest cell, atom, molecule, and everything in between. This is life. This is God. This is the expression of the divine coming through as it's infinite. And as I know this, I know that I am one with this. And as I unite with my knowing of this, then I'm filled up because I know that this power and this presence is flowing and living and having its being and breathing through me. And as it does this through me, it's doing this through you, because we are one. We are one as one. And this source of our being, the ground of our being that I know of as God, is who we are. It is expressing through each of us right now in our unique way, in our divine, individualized ways. We are showing up as God. And I'm so blessed for this, because this is the expression, the unique divine expression of life. As we say yes to being this expression, to living this life in fullness. And I know that as we enter now into 2022, we use this spiritual mind treatment practice and tool to guide our lives, to empower our lives, so that we live a more fulfilled experience of this life. And I know that as we do this, we each get to see our lives demonstrated in the most beautiful of ways. Beautiful. Filled with creativity and love and joy and prosperity. Filled with health and well-being and vitality and friendships, and filled with amazing family connections and harmony and peace. This is what it is. This is what life is. And so I know that as we turn to this treatment, as I turn to this and I see you doing it, that individually and collectively, there is an intention set to lift and raise ourselves and the collective and every sentient being on this planet, as we each turn to this knowing of love, this divine template that is the principle, that is God itself, that is beyond principle as God. As we turn to this and we know these aspects of God, and we live in the fullness of each of these aspects, that we live this most incredible life. So I see 2022 as an exciting journey, as an adventure of light and love for each of us. And I am so blessed and so grateful to be here right now and to be saying this and treating, and for the demonstration of this for each of our lives. Because I know that we are each whole and healed and complete and perfect as the living expressions of the divine. So as I know this and I feel this within me with such conviction and excitement, I allow this, I accept it in my heart, and I let God do its thing. I let God show up as this in my experience, because I know this is the truth. I know this is the truth for myself and for each of us. And as I simply accept this and hand this over to the divine, I say thank you again. And I ground this even further by saying, and this is so. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are. Blessings to you. And I look forward to being here with you again very soon. Tomorrow night, Global Love Meditation, where we all get to sit in the stillness and in the silence, knowing this truth for ourselves, knowing this truth for our lives. Blessings and love to you. Until next time, have a blessed day wherever you are on this amazing, amazing planet. Cosmic prayer. Here we go.